Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here with us this evening. I'm calling to order this regularly scheduled public comment meeting of Monday, February 14th, 2022 to order. With us this evening, as I see them on my screen, are Councilwoman Marilyn Rossetti, Councilman James Sanchez, Councilman Gale, Councilwoman Shirley Sargent, Councilwoman Tiana Hercules. We also have Mr. Harwood Rifkin, our corporation counsel. And that's about it that I see on our screen. To the members of the public, thank you for being with us this evening. We also have David Grant from the Council President's Office and members of the Hartford Public Access TV. For some housekeeping rules, public comment shall be conducted in accordance with the following procedures. Each person wishing to address the council or committee, therefore, shall, upon recognition by the presiding officer, give his or her name, address, and if he or she represents a group, shall in addition state for the record the name and address of said group or organization, and shall limit his or her remarks to 3 minutes. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any individual council member. Any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or who becomes boisterous while addressing the council shall be forthwith barred by the presiding officer from further audience at said meeting unless permission to remain is granted by a 2/3 vote of the council members present and voting. During public comment, there shall be no debate by the council, although questions may be asked by a council, a person making such presentation. For members of the community, please be advised that this meeting is being broadcasted and recorded by Hartford Public Access Television and can be viewed via the Hartford Public Access TV Facebook page, Comcast Xfinity Channel 96, www.hpa-tv.org, or channel 6032 for Frontier customers. Spanish interpretation is provided through a partnership with the City of Hartford and the Hartford Public Library. Additional accommodations may be available with enough notice to the Office of the Council President. And again, thank you all for being here with us this evening. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. I hope everyone has had a great weekend and a great day today. Also with us is our town clerk, Mr. Noel McGregor. And now to the list of our speakers this evening who are going to address the council body. First on the agenda is Yvette Howard. Yvette Howard, you have the floor. You may unmute yourself.
It looks like Yvette hasn't joined us yet.
Okay, great. Thank you, David. Next to speak is Mark Anderson.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Anderson, 120 Westbourne Parkway, Hartford, Connecticut. Just trying to get some information from the council as well as reach out about a situation I've been having at my property at 817 Albany Avenue. So I addressed the panel council a couple times on this particular matter. I'm not going to go too much into the specifics again. I've been having a situation with building inspector for 817 Albany Avenue in Hartford, where the building inspector, ever since I met him back in 2014, it's just certain behavior that he's been conducting. He treated me like a child, a boy, on many occasions. I reported him to his supervisor, and it only made my life even worse. There was nothing done beside, I guess he was spoken to. So come to 2022, I've been trying to get an inspection for my property to try to close it up and move forward with the property after the other issues that I've been having. They refusing to give me an inspection. Every time I reach out to the inspector, I reach out to his boss, I reach out to Elba Sanani, and still nothing hasn't been done. They end up canceling all my permits, saying that I didn't do anything on the property, and I'm on the phone. So I was able to get the permit. So I'm not sure how they can, in good faith, saying that I did nothing and use that as the reason for them to cancel my permit when I did get the permit. So I had to do. Hello?
We're listening to you. You're on our screen.
Okay, all right. I just saw somebody covering the camera, so I wasn't sure what was going on. So I know I got 3 minutes, but I just wanted to know what's the next procedure. My permits have been canceled on the property they said that I did absolutely nothing. And I went to Ms. Tanani and I gave her all the information. I requested a meeting and she refused to give me a meeting. She said that it's up to Mr. John Collins as far as any resolution as far as moving forward. And he came up with a conclusion as well that I did nothing on the property. So I'm just trying to see if I can get any help, you would call it, or to address this particular matter. I know other people got more pressing issue, but I feel my issue is very pressing at this moment. As I mentioned to the council body that because of the delay of the facade that I received, I'm in some tax situation right now, and I'm trying to move forward with the property and do what I need to do. So, I'm only allowed 3 minutes, so it's more deeper than that. And hopefully I presented enough information that, maybe somebody, can hear this and I can get some type of help dealing with this situation, because I've been biasly treated by the building department for personal issues that they have against me. And, I really would like to present documentation if I could, just to prove my claim.
Mr. Anderson, I do hear you, and thank you for bringing your concerns to this council body. Now, I know for a fact that you have been on public comment before, and David Grant from my office has spoken to you. You guys have emailed back and forth. I will ask David for the record to set up a call with me, a Zoom
Yes.
for this Friday, and then we can perhaps have a conversation so that you could address again your issues, okay?
I would very much like that. And Mr. Grant has been very helpful. It just haven't been able to get anything resolved pertaining to that, but I do appreciate him, and he's been very, very helpful.
Okay, thank you so much. And so we'll take this offline. I want to be respectful to everyone with their 3 minutes. So we will talk sometime this week. Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Appreciate
Next to speak is Vicki Gallen-Clark.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good evening, Madam Chair and the rest of the City Council members. Happy Valentine's Day. Vicki Gallen-Clark. I am the Executive Director of the Blue Hills Civic Association and a long-term resident at 105 Granby Street here in Hartford. I'm here today to ask the City Council members to approve and adopt the resolution that is aimed or focused at economic development opportunities in North Hartford. When I look at one of the top priority goals for the Department of Development Services, it is to increase job opportunities, improve quality of life in North Hartford. And so therefore, I'm asking the council to adopt this resolution that will lead to increased job opportunities, increased quality of life. I'm also asking the City Council to look at the expediency of this because of the federal funds that's coming to the state. And so take advantage of the opportunity for this funding so that we can actually not only commence and complete the development that has started, but actually look at new development opportunities as well. Thank you very much. You're muted, Council Chair.
Thank you. And for the record, Councilman Mixtum and Councilman Majority Leader Clark has joined this public comment section. Next to speak is Rhonda Leonard. You have the floor, Rhonda.
Good evening, everyone, council and residents of Hartford. My name is Rhonda Leonard. I'm a longtime resident of 246 Lime Street in Hartford. And I am the resident lead for the Mouth Block Watch. The acronym for MOUTH is What's Only Used to Help. So in my experience, every new administration makes promises to bring more economic development and revitalization to Hartford North. Every new administration falls short of making it happen for Hartford North. The continual and habitual disinvestment in Hartford North has resulted in the decay of abandoned buildings, underutilized structures, and already struggling neighborhoods. It's time to bring these structures back to their highest and best use. In other corners of Hartford, as well as downtown district, we can see immediate redevelopment in their lifetime. Excuse me. Of the 15 district neighborhoods, new development, new businesses, new libraries, new affordable housing complexes, new job opportunities, etc., are populated throughout the city, except for Hartford North. Why not Hartford North? I am supportive council, PEDH committee, the resident and community partners seeking to rehabilitate these properties, create job opportunities, and to improve quality of life for the residents, and also some much needed resources for the residents of Hartford. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments this evening. Next to speak is Victoria Fennell.
Yes, good evening and thank you, council. Good evening. My name is Victoria Fennell, 21 Andover Street, Hartford, Connecticut, longtime resident of Hartford's Blue Hills neighborhood. Piggybacking, I just want to thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak. And I want to piggyback off of comments that were made by Ms. Gallen Clark, as well as Ms. Leonard, regarding North Hartford. First of all, I believe that the presentation that the city's Department of Development Services gave to council does not address economic development of North Hartford residents. And primarily it's focusing on residential projects under the guise of something's being done for North Hartford. With Hartford being ranked one of the poorest cities in the country, where 3 out of every 10 families is living below the poverty level, we're seeing results of what poverty is causing every day on our streets. And one would think that the city's efforts would be and should be concentrating on projects to help eliminate what we're witnessing every day. The residents of North Hartford are continuing to express their opinion on the matter. Groups have created plans which are solid to eliminate blight, create programs and services to provide residents with the necessary skills to pay the bills. Home ownership is one thing, but being able to maintain it through repairs, insurance premium payments, etc., is another story. You need a good job to be able to sustain this. So council, the ball is in your court. Many of you have links to North Hartford. It's time to put your power behind the resolution and begin to fix the problems that are plaguing these areas. Empty buildings do nothing for a neighborhood. They do nothing for city residents who live in these neighborhoods. And it doesn't do anything for the city's bottom line. And also, I'd also like to voice support for the Friends of Brainerd Airport regarding their efforts to keep the airport open. Let's look at New Haven and see what they've been able to do regarding attracting regional airlines to their area, jobs, boosting economic efforts for their city. Hartford has an opportunity to provide aviation careers for youth, healthcare opportunities, Hartford Hospital, not to mention small businesses that are being supported when people use Brainerd. So contrary to what folks are being told, it's not a playground for the rich. So that's it for now. Thank you very much. I appreciate again, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Vicki, for your comments. Next to speak is Bridget Prince. Bridget, if you could unmute. There you go, Bridget. You have unmuted yourself. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman President. It's a pleasure to be able to actually address you. My concern is about, well, actually, it's not a concern. It's a proposal. I've actually spoken with some former UConn Hall of Fame players, and we were talking about actually designing and building a UConn Hall of Fame inside the Excel Center, which is owned by the city of Hartford. So this is my proposal. It's initial, but I would just like you to take that under consideration. It's in its infancy stages. So we're putting it together. Me, I've spoken to Bria Hartley, Diana Taurasi, and some other UConn individuals, but I'm proposing it to you because I understand it is a City of Hartford owned property. So that proposal will be forthcoming, but that is what I'd like to address today. So thank you.
Thank you and have a nice evening.
You too, thanks.
Next to speak is Angela Harris.
Good evening, Angela Harris. I'm speaking, Hartford resident. I'm coming to you tonight as the North Hartford Promise Zone resident liaison for the Health and Wellness Initiative. And I would like to address the two items regarding North Hartford. The first being the resolution that was presented at the February 2nd Planning, Economic Development, Housing Committee meeting. A substitute resolution was submitted. It didn't have an introduction name who introduced it, but I believe it might be before you for consideration on this evening. I'm speaking in favor of the intent of the resolution. I'm not sure why the language from the original resolution that was put before you via council majority leader
Clark.
But it is much more brief than was presented, and some of the language was deleted. And I'm just concerned that many of the specific asks in the resolution may get lost in the translation. And so I'd ask that you all would make note of that. And as a first opportunity to exercise what's being requested in that resolution, you have a resolution coming before you, the Urban Action Grant. And in the mayor's request dated January 24th, he mentions the $1 million grant from the state DECD, Department of Economic Community Development. You'll have manufacturing training centers in Hartford, both in the north end and the south end. However, in the resolution, that language is lost. So here is again an opportunity for you all to put forth action as opposed to just language and talking, but to actually codify that in the resolution so that we can get assurances that these matters will be followed through. And so I'd ask you all, when it goes to committee, to actually put the language that's mentioned in the letter, one each in the north end and the south end, in the resolution so that it will be codified. Again, we thank you for your efforts to support development in the north end, and we just ask that you would continue to put forth funding and the efforts that we so deserve, and we look for continued investment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Angela. Next to speak is Kelvin Lovejoy.
Can I be heard?
Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity, council members and residents and those who are listening. My few words are regarding support for the resolution for economic development in North Hartford, a resolution that must be supported. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius declared poverty is the mother of crime. As a matter of fact, research says that the main root causes of poverty, inequality, and declining economic growth usually stem from this severe condition in poor communities, as well as low per capita income and slow economic growth that generate negative effects on business investments, property development, and a lack of opportunity for the residents of the community, thus hindering prospects for long-term growth. It goes on to say that the microeconomic standpoint, meaning locally in the neighborhoods, one of the effects of this poverty is violence, which dissuades individuals, residents from investing time and money, not only in themselves and their family, but things like education and other economic opportunities. You know, I was reading this article that spoke about the $250 million investment or redevelopment investment that is going into Hartford's Parkville neighborhood. And I really want to applaud that. I think that's great. I'm just wondering what kind of investment will be made in North Hartford. Then I go on and I'm reading to some of my students, and it said a study showed that Black families have 1 cent for every white dollar that white families have. It goes on to talk about how young Black men in the state of Connecticut are 39 times more likely than white young men to be slain by gun violence. And as I stood out there in the cold today and looked at the supporters for Connecticut against gun violence and the heartfelt passion that was shared by family members and supporters who have lost loved ones, like many of us have here in this city, I can only think that economic development would turn around what's going on and what we see in the city of Hartford when it comes to violence and the senseless amount of crime that we have in our community. So I go back and I say what I would look for is for our city council to support the resolution of economic development in North Hartford, a resolution that must be supported. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next to speak is John Soropido. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce that. Sodipo?
Hello, can I speak?
Yes, you have the floor.
Yes, I'm Attorney John Sharif. I'd say, okay, the name has been bastardized so many times, but I take no offense to it. Honorable council members, my name is Attorney John Sharifa. I'm at 120 Oxford Street in Hartford, and it's a privilege and an honor to be before you today. And I'm actually calling in support of the resolution regarding economic development. And what has been known to me is that it seems to me that the north end of Hartford has been treated like a bastard child. It seems to me that they've been ostracized from anything good happening to Hartford. Whenever I go there, I've not seen any new schools built. I've not seen any libraries. As a matter of fact, the only thing there, the emergency room, I remember that at Mount Sinai was closed out. And it seems to me that even though it's a part of Hartford, it seems to me to be an extension of Hartford, like a bad arm that they want to amputate. With that being said, I like to see development in Hartford. I'm a great supporter of Hartford. And that's why about 8 years ago, I moved my business from West Hartford Center to the west end of Hartford. And if you look around the blight in the north end, if we do not pay forward for the children, I believe the previous speaker spoke tremendously regarding gun violence, and every news ought not to be bad news at the north end of Hartford. And the only way we're going to change that is by putting in the correct investments in terms of education, in terms of jobs. I believe another speaker spoke about, home ownership. People who cannot pay their bills do not own homes. And if you give them the down payment, it will be a revolving cycle of hardship. And unfortunately, they're the working poor. While Hartford is one of the poorest cities in Hartford per capita income, I believe that issue is actually an understatement if you take away North Hartford alone. I believe in Hartford, but I just say to the council members, this is still part of your city. Please invest in the north end of Hartford in terms of job opportunities, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education and job training, and we'll all be better off for it. I thank you for the opportunity this evening, and I wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next to speak is Denise Bess.
Good evening, esteemed members of the, good evening, Madam Chair, and esteemed members of Hartford City Council. My name is Denise Best. I'm from 12 Deerfield Avenue in Hartford. I am the president and CEO of the Voices of Women of Color, and I come before you this evening on behalf of the Voices to address 40 plus years of disinvestment in North Hartford. With each new administration, multiple directors of development services, we keep finding ourselves back to square one. Community leadership has developed comprehensive plans to decontaminate and repurpose several blighted city-owned properties that have been sitting vacant in some cases for 10 or more years, and for which the broken window theory is well in play. I appeal to you as our city council members to pass the substitute resolution for economic development in North Hartford to complete developments and redevelopment projects underway in North Hartford that have been for more than 10 years in some cases, and to formulate developments that increase job opportunities and improve the quality of life for our residents in North Hartford. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you for your comments, Denise. Next to speak is Alice Turner. Alice, you have the floor.
Greetings. Thank you, Honorable Chair and Council members. My name is Alice Turner. I am a Hartford business owner and have been for well over 10 years. I recently located from downtown Hartford into Northeast Hartford, in particular the Colin Bennett building at 1229 Albany Avenue. At the office, I am focused on entrepreneurship, education, and economic development. I believe that those three pillars are pillars of what we could call a critical trifecta in terms of what is required to turn this situation and to turn the tide in North Hartford. I will repeat, it's a critical trifecta that is the core of our mission. It is focused on education, which means creating job training programs, entrepreneurship, which is providing programs and events that help our young people in particular and underrepresented families understand economic mobility and economic activity. These three areas that we are focused on that are core to our mission are also core and supportive of what we believe is the Northeast Hartford's resolution to increase investment and economic development activity in Northeast Hartford. I support the resolution and ask the council to support the resolution. Again, bringing critical job opportunities, improvement in the quality of life for our underrepresented and underserved and overlooked individuals, especially youth and young adults that I work with. I am here to ask for your support of the resolution for the North Hartford Community Development Project, which again mirrors our mission and our commitment that puts funding and investment in Northeast Hartford and allows us to play it forward. We need the resolution for the Northeast Hartford Community Development and Investment Project passed, and we need it right now. Thank you so much for the opportunity and for giving me a chance to share my thoughts and concerns.
Thank you for your comments. And personally, I want to thank you all I've been on council since 2018, and I know, and I've heard all of these issues, but it is very nice to see that the community is coming together. Maybe they have in the past, but this is the first time that I've seen that the community has gotten together, at least the north end of Hartford, and is speaking forward and is coming together at once, because it is going to take a village. And yes, you are correct. This council body is here and should do their due diligence. You guys are the ones who have elected us, and we should represent you and be your representation in this administration. So thank you all. And this is the start of many conversations. And yes, it is time for this council body to ask to move forward. And like I always say, right? Talk the walk and walk the talk. So I'm going to open it up to any of my council colleagues who would like to make any comments or speak to any of our members. Councilman Sanchez?
Yes, thank you. Through you, Madam President. I did have a discussion with the Director of Development Services. It's my understanding that an RFP has already been sent out to hire someone to address the environmental issues of the old McCook Hospital and the other grounds. McCook Hospital is basically where I was born, and also I took a position on learning how to be a machinist with the manpower back in the 80s over there. And I think these properties are a very, very valuable asset to the community once we can get the funding to redevelop and also possibly restore some of the structures. So I am in support of that. But again, I just want to be fair that, again, it's my understanding that the process has started, and it has to start with the environmental issues, impacts that needs to be addressed in those properties. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for sharing your heartfelt concerns.
Is there anyone that would like to make a comment? Okay.
Yes, madam. I'm sorry. My thing is going in and out today.
Councilwoman Surgeon?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, wow. Thank you all for coming and offering your opinion on economic development in the city. Just want to let everybody know that I'm certainly committed, working with my colleagues to get as much economic development as we need to have in North Hartford. Just want to also let you guys know, since you're here, and I see many of my friends here, is that I will not be chair of the Planning, Economic Development and Housing Committee, but I will also be a committee member, and I will continue to fight for economic development in the city. So thank you guys for joining us, and the fight continues. We will certainly make sure that we continue to support economic development within the city. Angela, I see a comment, any timelines. One of the things I think Councilman Sanchez mentioned was we had received $250,000 from the state last year. We accepted the monies. There's an RFP out to take a look at all the environmental cleanup from Coventry Street all the way back to behind, all the way up there behind where the senior center is, all that property. So there is an RFP out to take a look at the environmental cleanup, because you do need to know what the cost is going to be for the environmental cleanup before we can talk about economic development. And I believe all this information was given out when Mr. Matthews did a great presentation for the Planning, Economic Development and Housing Committee. I hear the comment about housing. And one of the things somebody mentioned to me over the weekend is, if we have our youth and we want to make sure youth are well, we have to provide also good housing for them and affordable housing so they can also do well in school. So all this with housing and jobs, we are here to support you all. And thank you all for coming out and letting us know your concerns.
Thank you, Councilwoman Surgeon. Anyone else? Any council member want to address the public comment section? Councilman Clark?
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you all who spoke up. I'm not a member of the PEDH committee. However, I do and will continue to support initiatives that come out of North Hartford and to be a catalyst to drive economic development into North Hartford that has gone through decades of neglect. I think I stand with those that are on our call and those that actually live in North Hartford that the Albany Avenue streetscape, although we love it, we appreciate it, and it's been 30 years. I think it was, how long between Shirley and Denise?
Denise Best. Denise, tell them how many years you've been working on the streetscape.
You're correct. It's 30 years.
Yeah. So almost, it's been a long time. And so although we do appreciate that, it's more to that our community needs to see. And it's been a decade, over decades of neglect. And so I do stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters on this call to make sure that there's definitely economic development that comes into the city and to more so the North Hartford neighborhood so that we can actually increase our quality of life for our families and for our, particularly our children, so they definitely can work, live, and play in a city that they reside in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Clark. Councilwoman Rossetti.
Probably don't have much to add to what my colleagues say, but I really want to thank people. I look at who's on the call, and I know none of us are getting younger. I do wish I saw younger people, even though people our age have history, knowledge, experience, and a lot to bring to the table. But I thank you all. I thank you for consistently coming, walking the walk, talking the talk. There are times I know we all get tired, but I just really want to thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rossetti. Okay, that concludes our public comment section. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned, and please join us for our scheduled regular council meeting at 7 p.m. this evening. Thank you.